And a 1. And we're live. Here we go. It's Sam and Michael. We've got Richard trying to join. We'll see if he makes it into the Hangout. Should we start? Yeah, Michael, how are things with you? What's up with you?
Good. Just spent a good bit of the afternoon yesterday trying to get all the gems installed for the website one project.
So is that set up and running? Are the tests passing for you locally?
I haven't tried to run any test. I finally got all the gems installed late last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of dependencies, Qt and stuff, which aren't necessarily simple to get installed.
Yeah, which platform are you on?
I'm using the SAS book.
Oh, okay.
VM.
the VM. Right. Yes. And what's the system that you've got that running on? Is that on a Windows machine?
Yeah, it's on a Windows box.
Yeah. Well, that's probably yes. I mean, that's the other thing is having it. The gem install and everything on top of running in the virtual machine on top of Windows. It makes everything that much slower. Yes, it'd be interesting. The C9 is also an option, but I don't. Did somebody I saw had set up their website one? Anyway, there you go. Okay.
I've tried Cloud9 before. I much prefer doing it in a VM so I could use Ruby mine.
Okay. Right. No, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I think Cloud9 has improved a lot. Like 2 years ago, I was kind of like, meh, and I was actually Nitrous. I thought was the better offering. But I think Cloud9 has it's become a lot more stable. I think that it's got a lot of new features. But yeah, RubyMine is nice. I mean, I'm on a Mac and I have RubyMine on the Mac, and yeah. So is there? I mean, I guess you're now just when you have a moment, you'll start looking into the tests and getting started on that feature. Is there anything blocking you at all?
No, like I said, I just got it was just trying to get all the gems installed and stuff,
Sure.
and the VM ran out of space, and
Yeah, right. I can imagine.
There's 200 gems with that project.
Yeah, well, it could be slimmed down. I mean, the interesting thing is whether I know you've had the discussion of the website too and so on, is, I mean, there's, it would be interesting possibly to be extracting, like, what are the critical things that we actually needed to do? Maybe there's only 3 of them and we could do that in a middleman site or something. I think that would be an interesting thing to explore, but cool. But Richard's back in and we can see Richard's video. Hey, Richard, can you hear us okay? Hey, Richard.
I can actually, Sam. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. The video's a bit slow. You might want to. It's great to see you. You might want to turn the video off just to boost the audio sim. Yeah, how are things going with you?
Yeah, things are going well. Things are going well for me. I'm trying to reconnect and to sort of pick up where I left off in I guess April. Because the thing with me is I had a career as a contractor in the SAP landscape. So yeah, I kind of slipped back into the old way of doing things instead of contracting.
Yeah, easily done. Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm re-energized by the Meteor platform and full stack JavaScript and all of that good stuff. So that's something that I would like to just jump on a few projects here on the Agile Ventures, Agile Ventures, just to boost my skill set.
We totally love that. Yes, I mean it's been an ongoing goal for us to get more JavaScript stack projects started. We don't have like a really active JavaScript full stack project going at the moment. I think still I guess we've fallen back into our old ways, which is that I mean, we have some new project. There's like a very interesting. There's Met Plus, and they're doing like a job hunters site for like in Detroit, and there's the Autograders is up again and is doing stuff, and that's got it's pure Ruby, and we're doing this, that, and the other, but the usual website one and local support, but it's still Rails. But I think I would very much like to empower you to do some stuff with Meteor. And I guess, but you're just interested in that stack. You don't have a particular project in mind that you want to build something for somebody. You're just like anything that had that kind of stack would be fun for you.
Yeah, so for me, it's and I just want to solve a problem with that particular stack. Um, and then because I've got a few projects in mind that I would like to prototype.
Yeah.
But that's more on the commercial side, so that's
Sure.
I really want to mix the two. So I'm happy to sort of take any project where they have a business problem and they're looking for some type of technology to be built upon that. For me to do that in Meteor, or for me to come up with a problem that requires solving, almost like a charitable problem, which I could use the Meteor stack to develop.
Well, I tell you one thing that we have that's kind of a little thing that we have a client for that's needed doing is this like an Agile Ventures showcase. So we've got these, we've had these projects. This project for Syrian orphans. There's a new project starting up for Refugee for Tech. Actually, that would be another one to look at to see if they're interested in or Tech for Refugees is what it is, which is of course a big thing these days. So that would be certainly Tech for Refugees is getting started up. They've got a client. That would be an interesting stack to propose to them. You could also we're sort of codenaming it website 2, but building a showcase for Agile Ventures projects to try and like the main site is sort of promoted at developers, but we've got one prototype that was done in Rails that I think we need to do another prototype. We need to iterate on that, but that's certainly something we could do in Meteor, and I'd be happy to work with you on that if you're interested.
Yeah, definitely. I think the latter would be good, like the showcase for Agile Ventures, where we showcase the projects that we've done, and it's more of a client-facing tool just to really showcase what we can do. Yeah, I'd be happy to work with you initially to get that off the ground, and then run with it.
Nice one. Well, I'm just so you're in the Slack. I'm just inviting you into the website 2 channel on Slack, and I'll invite you into the website 1. So I've just got you in a couple of channels there, and we can potentially have a bit more conversation at the end of the stand-up or in the channels on the Slack. So stick around. I'm just going to do my part of the stand-up, which is reporting what I've been doing. Yeah. So this morning. Yeah, the big thing I've been working on is the certificates repository for Agile Ventures, and this is for people who are doing the AV102 courses. They're the teaching assistants for the online course, the big UC Berkeley around the world, thousands of students course. So we have the teaching assistants, and we have these certificates that we give them out, and we have got like a little repo that basically validates the certificate. So you can click on the link in the certificate, and it says, oh yes, this is a valid certificate. And that repo was out of date, and I had to upgrade it onto the Cedar 14 stack and get it on Ruby 2.3, and it is actually all now working. And I think I am now poised actually to be able to release the certificates for some of the TAs. So I think I can just get that done and out of the way, hopefully in the next half an hour or so. We've got a question about the midterm for the MOOC, about which week it should be released for, and anyway, I've been getting a lot of support from the TAs on that, so that's quite good. It's just I need to kind of coordinate that this afternoon. What I've also been doing, I was pairing with Sam Overloop, who's another recent Makers graduate, on the local support project earlier on today, and we were looking at Rails validations and so on. That was a nice little session. So yeah, I feel like I've got quite a lot done today. Not blocked actually on the technology side. I think a few more, another hour or so, and I will have ticked off a few good tasks for the day. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased really. Yeah, I think that's about. So that's our stand-up. Any other thoughts that we need to mention to each other while we're here?
No, nothing from me.
We've got this new feature as well of our stand-ups, of doing stand-ups with feedback. With feedback. Ooh. That we've done the last few days and have been fun. I guess. Let's Michael knows what it is. Richard, the way it worked, the idea is that particularly if you finish the stand up a little bit earlier, as we have done, then you sort of create a space for people to give feedback to each other, and in particular, it's only if people invite it. So, for example, I might say, "Yeah, I'm open to feedback today. Any feedback for me?" And then that's an option that's called creating a space for other people in the stand up to give feedback on, you know, how things like, so for example, Richard, you might say, oh, well, I was trying to get into Agile Ventures and the I couldn't get the link, or, you know, or you're just ugly. You could tell me, you could say, look, I'd like, you know, just turn the camera off because, you know, it's, you know, disturbing me. Or obviously, I mean, positive and negative, you know, it's all things. But this is something we've been doing at Makers, and I think it's really valuable to create that space. So let's just do that. Maybe we all you know, no one's required to give feedback, and no one's required to say give me feedback. But I guess I'll go first and say, yeah, I'm open for feedback. Any feedback, positive or negative, from Michael or Richard?
No, all good for me, Sam.
No, none from me today.
There we go. Good stuff. You know, no news is good news, so I'm assuming that we're having a really solid day. Yeah, Richard or Michael, do either of you interested in feedback?
I'd take it. I haven't done anything yet, but
yeah. Well, I think, and I just give you positive feedback. I mean, thanks so much for getting involved. You know, great to see you getting set up with the Website One project, and yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to potentially collaborating with you on that. I guess that this is not really feedback. I'm just thinking out loud. There's overlap. You know, if Richard's Michael, are you also interested in the like the Meteor stack and things like that?
it would be completely new for me, but I need to learn JavaScript stack, how JavaScript stack work in general at some point, because the product I work with at work is moving somewhat to a JavaScript stack.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
so that's interesting. Yeah. Well, I think it would be interesting just to do. I mean, I did do some Meteor pairing with in Agile Ventures a couple of years ago, and you know, I think it's a very interesting. You know, it's an interesting area. It would be nice just to sort of play with something as a sort of prototyping exercise. Yeah, cool. Okay, there we go. Anybody else? I guess it's yeah. Richard, did you just come back in? I think, you know, obviously you I think we were just. Well, Richard, are you open for feedback today?
Yeah, I'm open for feedback always.
And I would say, thanks. It's hugely positive. You made it back into you made it into Agile Ventures. You're here. I'm just particularly interested. Did you find, you know, did you come in through the Slack, or you came in through the homepage, or?
No, I came in through the homepage actually.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And did you find, like, you know, because I'd sent you some links in LinkedIn, and basically you came to the homepage and you knew the kind of time and it was all okay. You didn't have any trouble getting in.
Yeah, I tried first and foremost, but yeah, I didn't have any major problem coming in. So it was fairly smooth, very good, very efficient. Yeah.
Well, good to hear. Nice one. All right. Well, I think that's the stand-up. We've had a full. You know, I also, you know, I have a thought going forward to, you know, start the stand-ups early. I think, Michael, it was nice to be able to have a chat and get to know you beforehand, before we started the official recording thing. And I think it's the feedback stuff is always fun. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so I guess then there's just a space now. Yeah, Richard, anything else I can? I mean, I've invited you into these Slack rooms. Anything else I can say about Website 2 or the idea of this showcase that's useful now, or anything you want to tell me about what you want to do with Meteor, or what your times of availability are, or what?
Yeah, so my availabilities, because I work from home, so availabilities is quite flexible.
Okay, yeah, likewise.
Yeah, so in terms of, I guess for me it's more of a what are the steps. You know, really for me it's, you know, I would like to receive more information on Website 2.
Yeah.
So I can start to, you know, prototype and start to prototype some things in the Meteor stack.
Yeah.
And how going forwards are we going to work it?
Yeah. Well, yes, and it's interesting because we've got like an existing prototype that I could show you, but in some ways, you know, it's kind of, maybe we should be just starting with some, in order not to bias in one direction or another, we should just be starting with some wireframes of what the thing is. But I mean, it's sort of, it almost feels kind of, you know, what we certainly can see is the, if I just do this, what we certainly can see here is the existing, you know, we have the existing project list on the main site, and basically this is just this is I think all wrong from the point of view of showcasing the projects. I mean, we kind of got set up with image upload, and it didn't really work properly. And there's one overly big image here, and it's just, I mean, it's kind of it's kind of a mess. I mean, the model in some way, which I now can't find, is Free Code Camp have kind of they're another interesting group, and they have, oh, they're being a bit slow at the moment. I mean, they just have sort of a list of their site very clearly goes to, it says like, oh, if you're a developer, click here, and if you're not a developer, if you're a charity or a non-profit, then you can go somewhere else. And although I now can't find it in their site, but that's another. Have they got a map? They've just redesigned their site. Join the free community. Yeah, they may have removed actually their kind of list of people that they've helped. I can't find it. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think what we really want to do is, have a site that, rather than having all and every project, that it has like 3 or 4 of the projects that, and just showcases them. And so we've got, for example, the Harrow Community Network is kind of our nice project, that's got that sort of work. And so, it's got a screenshot of the project, and it's got a link to the project. And, I think the most important thing is that it looks nice, and in a very small number of words, it conveys, we've helped this charity with building them this great site. And, maybe a quote from the charity. It's like, wow, before Adventures we were, basically lost and alone and afraid, and now everything is beautiful and light, or whatever exciting quotes we can get from the people we've been working with. Does that give you a general kind of feel for the kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm just guessing. Is it more of like a website, or is it more of a? I know it's a showcase, and the showcase needs to showcase, let's say, top 3 projects. But how's that going to be integrated into the overall website? Is that going to be done via a link, or?
No, that's an interesting question. I mean, and I think we built this. I mean, I guess I'm just going to show it to you because hell, it's in the chat channel, and you'll see it eventually. We got. Let's see if I can bring it up here. Come on, Mr. Thing. So this is, working with. This was a group of Maker students for their final project. Working with me, they kind of built this. So they ended up using a similar sort of background from our site, existing site, and like emphasizing the blue of the color scheme rather than the orange, which was fine. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't wedded to it being related to this color scheme particularly. That was not important. It was I was looking for something standalone that I could hand out to charities. But there was the 2 problems that I had with it was, one, it just didn't kind of look that nice. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, this is sort of exactly the kind of thing that I want, is like an image of the site and then a bit of description, but just kind of the I don't know, like the layout, the spacing, the this, that, and the other doesn't. I don't know what you guys think about this, but it just didn't sing to me. And to be fair to them, I mean, they were ended up focusing on doing the sign in stuff and all that, and focusing on that side of it, and they didn't kind of they didn't why not let me log in? And I've got all these different things here. Forgot your password. Ridiculous. So yeah. So to be fair to them, they just were focused on doing those bits and the others.
Okay.
Not anyway. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But in terms of integration with the rest of the site, I mean, that's a big open question. About when you land on Agile Ventures, should we have here it should say, right, I don't know, like somewhere in here, like Free Code Camp has, it says like, if you're a developer, click here and you go to the developer site, and if you have over here you're a charity, and then you go to a different part of the site. I would say that in the first instance, particularly if we want to do prototype something in a different stack, it's much easier to just like build a separate thing like this that then you get to via you know, a kind of a link. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it now. So if you could send me that link, this link here.
Yeah, well, that's in the website 2 channel that you've just been added to in Slack.
Okay, perfect. Because I think what would be the best first step would be almost like wireframes, but also just I guess some of those some of those cards that we did before, some of the, some
Yeah.
high level business requirements.
User stories, yeah.
Yeah, like user stories and user journeys.
Yeah.
And then off the back of that, wireframes, and then from the wireframes we can go directly into a prototype.
Indeed. And then the interesting thing you might also like to check out here is this is that we've got this. This is the website, or so this is the code base here. I'll put that in Slack as well. And in here, what the interesting thing they have in here is if you look at the issues, they kind of if we look at the closed ones here, you can actually see or the specifics. They've got the numbered ones. I think have they got the user stories in here? Yeah, they've got. We've actually got a set of user stories in here that we can
lift and shift.
that we can lift out. I mean, I think that the biggest thing that the learning that I take away from this product is that I was busy saying to these guys, fine, you're going to have sign in and sign up. I think the critical thing for the showcase going forward is that as the active project changes, it's important that we're able to make changes. And so, like I was saying to them, I got them to put in. I think it's set up. Yeah, basically, in principle, anybody can edit these things.
Okay.
Which is maybe not the right way to go. It's sort of the model that I've got set up on Agile Ventures itself. In that people may not realize it, but anybody in principle can just go in and edit these files and change them. However, working recently with makers, I don't know if you've heard of. There are sort of frameworks like Middleman, and I don't know if Meteor is, where you basically it builds a very, very, very lightweight site and then deploys it to GH pages, and it kind of almost does it without a backend. And I'm also seeing that as a kind of alternate model. I don't know if what I'm saying now is making any sense at all, but I mean the way that you use Meteor is like a front end framework. It's a full stack framework, right?
Yeah, it's full stack. It's front end and with Mongo.
Yeah. Yes, which is, I think, interesting. The interesting thing is you may not have seen the new Makers Academy site, but so what they've got there is this whole thing, which they do need to edit regularly and keep up to date. But so this whole thing is entirely hosted on GH pages, effectively as a static site, but it gets compiled by Middleman. It's got code and Ruby and all that, whatever, but it gets compiled into a single, site that's then super fast, because it's using GitHub servers. It's, there's a lot to be said for that, and it's like, I would, the argument for this one having a back end is, we want to be able to edit these things, but what GitHub offers here basically is if you for the site, and the site is open source as well. So have a look here at github.com/makersacademy/ website.
Is Middleman minimalizing the code base?
Yeah, I mean, what it's doing is Middleman is acting as a compiler, and it takes the code base and it compiles the whole thing into a static site.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I get it.
So what you end up with here is so they've got the website, they've got Makers Academy site there, and it uses all this different tech, and so you've got, if we look here, you've got like individual you've got like Haml or whatever layouts and this sort of thing, and what you do is you run Middleman, and Middleman compiles the code into, if we have a look down here, into a static. So if we look at the GHP, this is what actually gets published, and then what actually gets published, for example, is just these individual, HTML pages with all of the assets compiled into the right place, and this, that, and the other. So it's kind of, I think it's a really interesting model of a way of delivering a really performant site, and then the ability to edit it is all controlled through through GitHub. So, for example, here you've got a person from the careers here, who wants to make some changes to the copy, and they do it through a pull request, and it means that then you've got to, rather unlike the situation that we've got in Agile Ventures and the previous showcase, where if somebody edits this, I don't even know if we've got versioning on it. It's like a little bit dangerous. With this setup, there's sort of quite a clear mechanism for getting out changes to the site, but then you've got all of the advantages of the GitHub versioning and merging and all this, that, and the other. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling on and on. It's sort of, but that's definitely some of the interesting things that are going on there. I mean, the one thing with sort of Meteor JavaScript is, I wonder if there's some sort of
like a package or a gem.
Yeah, with Meteor that will do that sort of thing as well. No, or whatever. I mean, I think that in some ways it's sort of prototyping the user experience of can we make this thing attractive to chat? Can we really sell what it is? Sell in the inverted commas, but can we really sell the what Agile Ventures can do to charities through some mechanism? Some nice layouts and so on and so forth, nice interactive bits and pieces. Anyway, that's sorry. I'll try and turn the rant off, but that's some food for thought for you for the time being.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, I did have a cup of coffee earlier. I need to. It's yeah. There we go. Meteor pages. There you go. Look at that. Okay, no, not quite the thing that I'm looking for. I'm just wondering there if. Anyway, you guys don't have to sit and watch me googling crazily. Deploying a Meteor app into GitHub Pages. Yeah, there you go. Someone talking about that. This is impossible. GitHub Pages serves static content. But yes, is there? And I mean, you're just out of interest, Richard. You're more interested in Meteor than the mean stack, or what is it that attracts you particular to Meteor rather than?
Yeah, I think the thing with the mean stack is there's more wiring and plumbing that you need to get up and running really, really quickly if you want to prototype something.
Yeah.
I think the Meteor is more like Rails, where if you want to build a CRUD application, it's one command, right? So it's just, I don't know, Meteor create my app, whatever the my app is, and then all of a sudden you've got all the necessary files to start building, a CRUD application.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't mind mean. I don't mind doing it in the mean stack, but for me, getting up and running really, really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meteor is the best way. I mean, mean is a bit more plumbing and there's a bit more wiring together that you need to do across, Node, Express, and then one of the front-end frameworks, whether it be Angular, Ember, React.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, WebStorm seems to support Meteor, so.
And what's WebStorm?
It's the JavaScript thing of IntelliJ.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. There's
JetBrains.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think Meteor is a nice stack. The interesting thing is about what one might well ask for the showcase is whether something that has a back end is a good model for it. And it's not. As we explore it, it's not unreasonable to say, well, that maybe, for example, middleman would be a better model for delivering, what should be a performant, web system. In the equation, is I think what middleman, the question that something like middleman poses is, for a lot of what one wants to do, does one really need the CRUD back end? And we might come to the conclusion that Meteor was a better match for the Refugees for Tech people, which I'll invite you into their channel as well, Richard, because that I think that's a system where it's going to require users to be able to log in and this, that, and the other. I think the interesting thing about the middleman is it's still sort of creating a CRUD app in some way, but it's doing the login and the sort of management of all of the data through through GitHub, if you know what I mean, which is an exciting sort of outsourcing of these things. So yeah, I think. Oh, go on, Michael.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually pretty similar to the kind of stuff that we do. It's basically what you would call a static publish, where you're basically just taking a dynamic site and creating a static one from it.
Yeah, indeed. And you're doing that in Java.
Right. There's obviously the one I use is from Oracle, so it's not a free. But there is a free tool that allows it. It's called Drupal.
Oh yeah, I know Drupal.
So
yes, I mean I think back in the day. I mean this back in 2000. I was working in a startup in Tokyo, and the big thing about was it was all JavaScript, and it was like in order to deliver it to do performance, it was like right, compile it, lay all the HTML out just on the file system, and so that you don't have to hit any of the databases and this, that, and the other as part of it. That was I think that's a very common thing there. I found this one here that's talking about Meteor and Middleman in the same page. So Meteor, maybe that's a total example of it's not the Meteor JavaScript. It's like discover Meteor. He's saying discover Meteor. I don't know if that means. Who knows? Anyway, there we go. Cool. Well, let's leave that there, and I'll Richard, of course, jump in every stand-up, and we'll there's also those stand-ups later in the evening where the people in the US you'll find the Pacific Coast people in there, and like just we'll keep talking and we'll find a good match for you.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, nice one. Good talking to you guys. Yeah, and the conversation can continue online. Ooh. All right.
Take care, Sam.
All right. Bye for now. Good to see you again, Richard. Good chatting with you, Michael. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.